Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today I got another Teen Wolf video for you. We're going to be recapping and reviewing Season 6, Episode 3, and the episode is called Sundowning. So a big thing is revealed today, and we see that Mr. Douglas, who is the new teacher in Beacon Hills High School, is in fact the Nazi werewolf. And who's the Nazi werewolf? At this point we know that he was the one that was being held in the tank by the Dread Doctor. So we see him getting out of the tank, we see him shedding like this outer layer of skin that he had on, and he's pretty much spazzing out at school with having a crazy cough fit during class, in which he goes into the room, into a little closet area, and he's inhaling himself some helium. So I guess maybe this helium has to do, it's going to be a continuous story or plot that we're going to be going through. So that's what's going on with him. Interesting story plot. Chris Argent and Melissa McCall, so Scott's mom and Allison's dad, are talking. He calls upon Melissa to help him with examining a body at the morgue. They go. Turns out there's a bite mark, a werewolf bite mark on the back of this guy's head. Chris alludes to the fact that there's numerous victims, not just one that has been attacked, and they conclude with letting us know that I believe it's called pineal, I don't know, a little gland that's in the skull, and it's about the size of a pea. So what is significant about this gland is, as Chris puts it, he says that this gland is like the seed to the soul, or it's thought to be the seed to the soul, and basically somebody is stealing the souls or doing something with them. So in all these cases of this werewolf bites the victims and everything, that one gland is missing. So we see at the end of this episode, Mr. Douglas is in fact the one who's going about essentially killing all these people to take that little gland out of the skull, and he goes and he consumes it, and it seems like he's like in some euphoric state when he takes it, and then his eyes glow red, which I don't know what's going to happen, but we have yet to find out what he's doing with that and what it does for him. Nathan, if we recall Nathan, which is the guy Malia was having sex with in the last episode, this guy seems kind of like a jerky kind of guy. Like, he seems like one of those typical jocks that you see in the movies, whatever. So he's having a party, and Liam and company decide, well, in order to keep Gwen safe, because she's seen the Ghost Rider when he was taking her sister, she's seen him. So that essentially means that she's going to be taken next. So they end up stealing the party from Nathan and taking it over to Scott's house while Scott is away with Lydia and Malia. So they end up having the party there. And it's in a sense to try to keep everybody safe and everybody together. And as it turns out, the Ghost Riders get to the party, and they're there to collect Gwen. Well, it just so happens that Corey, in his chameleon state, he actually reaches out and he's able to touch the Ghost Rider, which therefore made him physical, or made him appear to everybody. So everybody in the party were able to see him, which is not good, because whoever sees the ghost hunt is essentially next. So in this sense, everybody who was at that party is potentially at risk to be taken in this ghost hunt. If they're going to be, I'm pretty sure, I'm just thinking that maybe they might, and well, we're going to see how that happens. Well, as things go, the boys and Hayden, all Scott and company, as I call them, so they're trying to ward off this Ghost Rider and trying to make sure that Gwen is okay. While it doesn't work out the way they want to, they throw Mountain Ash, which is no match for the Ghost Rider. Neither are they. Nobody can actually fight them because they're that strong. Well, Parrish shows up to the scene, and as the Ghost Rider goes up to Parrish, he's staring him, they're face to face, like literally super close, and I don't know what happens. I mean, the Ghost Rider just starts vanishing and he did nothing to Parrish. Could this be because Parrish is a hellhound? He's a harbinger of death. So maybe there's a sort of contradictory. Maybe there's something that Parrish has within him, like an ability that they can use to ward off or to defeat these Ghost Riders. So what's going on was Scott, Liam, and Malia. No? Scratch that. I said Liam, which my mind is hearing the L word. So Scott, Lydia, and Malia. Well, after being told no, they couldn't go and see Elias at the nursing home, Elias again being Stiles' granddad, they decided to take it upon themselves to break into the nursing home. Malia beats up the nurse at the entrance, and they go and they talk to Stiles' grandfather, which we come to find out that he has dementia. Now, in the daytime or whatever, he doesn't remember them. He's thinking the year is 1976. He's thinking Scott is the sheriff, and he's just like, he has dementia, so he can't really, things aren't what they should be for him. So what happens? Well, the sun goes down, hence sundowning, and he starts kind of having like a fit, and Lydia says that sundowning is when the dementia patients or the dementia the victims, they have like their faculties, they live them, and so they start getting maybe a little bit anxious and like angry and pent up. So that's what happens. He tends to remember things. He remembers Scott's dad. He remembers that it's not in the 70s anymore. He remembers Lydia's mom. And while he starts like getting a little weirded out and everything, we kind of get a weird scene because Malia doesn't like him for some reason. He doesn't like her, and I don't know why or what it is. They don't like each other. So Scott is trying to like get grips on Malia because she's kind of out of control at this point. Her emotions are all over the place, and she's about to go and attack Stiles' dad, or Stiles' granddad, Elias, and then the sheriff walks in and he scolds them and he chases the kids out, and then he says something, or like the granddad, so Elias, I wrote it down right here. What does he say? He looks at the sheriff and he tells him, he says, okay, what's the matter? He says, go crawling back to your dead wife and your loser son. And the sheriff stops and looks at him. Okay, so Elias remembers Stiles. Maybe his dementia kind of like puts like a barrier, and he can remember things, and his memory of him hasn't been wiped out. So we have yet to find out if he's going to play a bigger part in this season. He just might. Sheriff eventually goes to Scott's house and they talk. And the sheriff says something really interesting. He says, and quote, have you ever had or felt, not this part, but like he says something along the lines of like, have you ever felt this, or have you ever had something like that happen? And he goes to say, and quote, a dream so real that you thought it was a memory, and quote. So he proceeds to tell Scott, the sheriff proceeds to tell Scott that he has like this recurring dream where he's talking with his wife Claudia, and they're discussing if they ever had children, what would their names be. And he says that he would name his son after Claudia's dad because he was such a great dad, and it's a dad that he wished he could have had. And she agrees, and she says, well, it doesn't matter what we name him because we'll just be calling him Stiles. And then Scott and the sheriff look at each other, and it's kind of like Scott's kind of like maybe piecing things together. So in a sense, this means that, Stiles isn't, there's something going on there that they're clinging on to. Another interesting thing with this scene is the sheriff explains like the bad past he's had with his dad and Elias being a bad father to him, and he pulls like his shirt to the side. I'm not going to pull my shirt to the side. He pulls his shirt to the side, and we see that the sheriff has a scar right here on his shoulder, exactly where Stiles has his, and just so coincidentally both fell through a table, and the table went through them. Both different stories, but nonetheless still the same thing. Okay, so did I like this episode? I like this episode a lot. And I like this episode better than the first two episodes. I think that maybe as they're progressing in the season, we're getting more information. But I just feel like there wasn't so much little things to tick me off this episode. I think there was like, it had good cohesion. It flowed really well. It was done nicely. Again, another episode without Styles. But I mean, I can live with that. We're fine. We're having enough story going on, enough character plots and twists that, you know, as much as I love Styles, he's still very much involved because we're trying to find Styles. So in this sense, I mean, he's still within the show, but even not being in the show, I liked it. I honestly have no bad thing to say about this episode. In fact, I have a favorite scene. Malia loses control at school. She's taking a test. And she's starting to panic. What is the background for this episode, or for this this recap review that we're doing? And what the funny thing is, so she is with Lydia's mom, and she's doing a makeup test, and she's starting to panic, and she's not being able to concentrate. And what happens? Little Coyote Malia runs away from the test in little coyote form, and she looks so adorable. It was like the cutest thing ever, and she's like whimpering and like running off, and like Lydia and Scott, who are in the library studying or whatever, they hear her like howling. I don't know, to me it's like so funny. It was like so cute, kind of, even. I don't know, that was my favorite scene. In this show, this rendition of what Ghost Riders are, we see like so weird what they look like. They kind of look, in my mind, it kind of looks like a tree, like wood or something, like the grains and like the patterns of the wood. It kind of looks like that on their face, but like their eyes are like sunken in. I don't know, they're so like gnarly. They're very like, I don't know if I love the makeup aspect of it. I think like whoever, you know, kudos to the people, the makeup and stage department, the stage makeup department, because they are doing such a phenomenal job this season. I mean, even with what's his name, Mr. Douglas, when he was shedding his outer layer of like skin or whatever, when he came out of that tank, like you see, like it just looks like gross and like goopy and like scaly even, and it's like gross. But then like they show the transition and it is amazing. Even showing like Malia, like they don't show like the full body transformation, but they show like her paws moving, and then it like slowly morphs into her feet, which is like I literally had chills about like these special effects and the makeup of this episode in particular. I think by far it has been probably one of the most best episodes in terms of the special effects and the makeup. I think it looks so awesome. To me, I mean, I love to know like the background and like the people who do the makeup, and you know, who's producing, directing, all of these like intricate things, the behind the scenes things that make it really what it is. And to me, this episode was amazing. Probably one of my favorite episodes for basically just how well the episode progressed, information we got, character development, just and special effects. I think this was a really fantastic episode, and I'll be uploading throughout the weeks. And like I said, the season's gonna be quite a while, and during the if they're going to be doing a season break, then I'm going to be posting videos weekly anyway. So if you want to see any of those, like I said, please subscribe. And that'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you next video. Bye.